right, so the last couple of weeks, or actually ever since the election of Mamdani in New York, we've seen Republicans and Democrats and a large portion of the population have been freaking out about communism coming back to the United States. And, they have a reason to be worried because, ideologies like communism, you got to nip that shit in the bud quick. You can't let them get any power. Because the more power they get, the harder they're going to be to defeat. So you got to knock that shit out quick, which is what the United States kind of stood for back in the day. During the Cold War, there were laws in place, the Communist Control Act and the Smith-Muntz Act. There were laws in place on the books to stop communism from taking hold at all, making communist proposals and being a communist basically illegal. Those laws still exist in America today, but unfortunately they can't be used because the Supreme Court has struck down similar attempts to utilize those laws to combat communists. In recent years, the Supreme Court's struck that down, saying that no, you can't use these laws because it's actually a violation of the Constitution and your free speech rights. Okay, good point. I think that's true, right? I think that's true. But the fact is, if the government, the people in power, see, this is where I say again, we in the Western world and the people in America may think that they're free and that they live in some sort of democracy where their will is done. I don't see how anybody still thinks that, but okay. A lot of people still clamor to that belief that that's what's going on, when clearly that's not the case. Clearly you are not free. I say in every video, you are freer than other places. You're not free. And also, when laws are arbitrary and only enforced when the people in power want them to be enforced, then you're not in a free society. And this is just another example in America of how something clearly destructive. We know all of the things communism has brought in the past. We can take a look. It's never worked. It's always been a complete disaster. And I think that if you, have a free Western society, I don't think you should allow politicians preaching communism to enter the scene, right? Now, if it's maybe a new form of government or a change in government, I think that's fine. I think that's totally legit. But communism, we know that doesn't work already. So there's really no point in wasting years of time trying to reform a system into a communist system when we all know that's not what we want and it's not going to work, right? But okay, free speech protects that, and it should. The weird thing is, though, when the people in power now in the Trump administration, when they don't like people using their First Amendment to speak out against Israel, then they take action against those people. I mean, that's against the First Amendment because the people have the right to criticize Israel. As a matter of fact, they have the right to be racist and anti-Semitic. And they have the right to express those racist and anti-Semitic feelings online and out in the public whenever they want. The First Amendment protects it. You see what I'm saying? The First Amendment protects that. But your First Amendment rights are contingent upon who is in power and who wants to enforce the First Amendment rights and for what. So, to combat communism, this current government isn't going to put out a finger to help save the country from rising communists that are being elected into positions of power. They're not going to lift a finger. They're not going to try to press charges. They're not going to try to go against the Constitution there. In order for this administration to try to violate the Constitution, you have to be a critic of Israel or you have to be anti-Semitic. That's what this government cares about. They will go above and beyond and try to override the Constitution in that case, right? But they certainly won't do it on behalf of the citizens that don't want a communist country, right? And that's what I mean. When laws are enforced like that, when the people in power decide what laws are going to be enforced and which aren't, even though those laws are on the books. And they also decide against who they're going to be enforced and against who they will not be enforced. You don't live in a free society. You live in a place where you are being ruled over like peasants, and your very existence basically hangs on the whim of whoever is in power at the moment. That's the current system that actually all of us in the West live under. Some forms of this system are better for the people than others. In America, you have more freedom than you do here in Europe, where I live, in Germany. You definitely have more freedoms there. We in Germany have more freedoms than they do maybe in, the Congo or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's all arbitrary. It's all arbitrary. It all depends on who is ruling you at the time. Are they benevolent or malevolent? That's the system, people. And so whoever's got you thinking that this is some sort of democracy that you live in is, you should be able to see by now with your own eyes that is not the case, people. That's not the case. You know what I'm saying? And everybody can try to make it fucking, soften the blow for themselves by saying, well, look, it's the best system we have right now. It's better than most other places. And we're freer than most other places. So we're free because we're free as we can be free, which isn't true. And you ignore, and everybody wants to ignore these arbitrary enforcement of laws and rules. And everybody wants to ignore what's going on right in front of their face and still clamor to this idea, this false belief that somehow we regular people have any power whatsoever over what these governments that rule over us are doing. Now, I, for one, to exempt myself from this system every chance I get. Every chance I get. I make it a sport to make it as difficult on the government as I can with everything that I have to do and in dealing with them. You know what I'm saying? And I make it a rule to never think about if something is allowed or legal before I do it. You see what I'm saying? And okay, I'm not talking about that I want to murder people or shit like that. Obviously. What I mean with freedom is as long as I'm not doing anything that physically harms or blocks somebody else or impedes somebody else, then I should be able to do whatever the fuck I want. And I do. And I don't consider, oh my God, maybe that's illegal. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say I'm a rebel or any shit like that. I'm just saying that I don't participate in this system anymore. You know what I mean? I have for the last 10 years because I thought that Trump would make a difference enough that it would prove to me that actually participating in this farcical system may be the key to getting what you want politically. It may be that people just haven't participated in so long in this that's why it's gotten so out of hand with the corruption and all the crazy beliefs of these politicians that they are our rulers. You know what I mean? Maybe people just didn't participate, let it slide too long. That's what I thought for 10 years trying to support Donald Trump. And now I see that doesn't make a difference either. He can't do or won't do what he's supposed to and what he promised. And so therefore it shows me I was right all along. The system is a fucking joke, right? It's completely arbitrary bullshit, and it's decided just like it was back in the day by a king. It's now decided by a bunch of people who think they're king. It's not just one, it's 486 or how many Congress people, how many bureaucrats in government. All these people think they're king, and all these people think that they can rule over everybody else. And that is where we're at. That is where we're at. And it shows you that, look, these people bend and break the rules whenever the fuck they want. But when it's about stopping communism rising in the States, they're not going to do shit for you there. So good luck. Good luck, America, with that. You know what I mean? They could do something, they just won't. Just like with everything else. They only act when it benefits them. They only act when they feel it's important. You know what I mean? For whatever they want. You know what I mean? The only time the regular people even get taken into consideration is during voting time. But everything they're told during voting time isn't binding in any way. There are no consequences for any of these politicians for lying the whole fucking campaign until they get elected. And then they go, well, yeah, all that shit I said, forget all that shit. We're going to do this. You know what I mean? That's all okay. That's all legal shit. That's all legal. You know what I mean? It's all right. Just like insider trading in Congress. Legal. What, you know, hey, fuck, it's legal. It's legal, yo. So, remember, people, you're not in a free society. You don't have shit to decide about anything. And every day of freedom you have, you should thank your lucky stars because you have another day of freedom because they're giving it to you. You know what I mean? They're allowing you to have it. That's the position that, you know, generations before mine have put us into today by giving these fucking people so much goddamn power that they don't deserve and aren't even, that's not even why they're there, is to have power over us. They're there to serve us. But people long before us, you know, generations before mine, have allowed these people to have ultimate control and ultimate power, and now that's the situation we're in. I didn't ask for that. You know what I mean? And I, for one, will not participate and promote or advocate for any continuance of the system the way it currently is. I scoff at everyone who ever calls it any sort of democracy to their face. You know what I'm saying? Because it's obviously bullshit, right? And anybody that tries to tell me how free we are, I scoff at them also. Because that's obviously bullshit. And how we're all treated equally under the law. Bullshit. We see it with our own eyes, people. The internet's woken everybody up. Or at least a lot of people. Now, we just have to figure out what the fuck we're going to do about it. Because living like this, pretending to be free, and convincing yourself it's the best that you can get. You know what I'm saying? Instead of demanding more. That's what got us here in the first place, people. And again, it's not our fault. People before us decided this was the way it's going to go. And everybody just kind of fell in line. You know, but hey, this is crazy. This is crazy. It's all arbitrary BS. Stop believing in this bullshit, crooked fucking system that doesn't do anything for you. And start thinking of ways to change it completely. Stop playing the left-right game. Stop playing the political BS game. The fucking, oh, the Congress is going to vote on this and that. Fuck it. It all doesn't mean shit. It all doesn't mean shit. You can tell the SAVE Act, the Housing Act, the whole fucking thing is a farce, dude, people. Come on. So, anyway, there's nothing to think about. Get ready to get into communism. Nobody's going to protect you in America. But you don't have that much to worry about because America still has guns. And in the end, I think that's what's going to have to happen. I think that it's going to, in the end, come down to the people themselves to protect what they've got with force if necessary. I don't think the politicians are ever going to help the regular people in America. No matter who's the president, no matter who's doing what, they're not going to really do shit for y'all. I think it's going to end up coming down to using your Second Amendment rights in America and protecting yourselves. I don't want it to go that way. You know what I mean? I'm not advocating it for it to go that way. I would rather it didn't go that way, but it looks like that's going to be your only rescue. Those of us in Europe, we're left to try to fight this with sticks and stones because we've allowed here, the people before us, again, have allowed the government to completely disarm every population. So we're in a little bit worse situation than you guys are in America, but I think it is going to come down to that. I don't think politics and democracy are going to save us at any stretch, at least not in our lifetimes. So, sorry to be the black pill on that, people, but yeah, figure out how you are going to stop communism in America because your politicians won't do shit. They're only going to break the law, try to break the law, try to override the Constitution, try to do anything that's against the rules. They'll only do that kind of shit when it benefits their cause, not when it benefits you. So just remember that. Doesn't matter who's president, people. It's all the same shit. Sorry to tell you.